It may be suggested that numbers of attempts were made to fix the tradition already during the Sutta period. One of the earliest, these may have come down to us as the Sangiti Sutta of Digha Nikaya. This of course consists of mnemonic list given in the group in ascending numerical order from 1 to 10. Significantly, it is attributed not to the Buddha but to Sariputta. It can be viewed as a mnemonic summary of the contents of Nikayas. Many of the list must derive from suttas found only in Anguttara Nikaya. This process of organizing for mnemonic purposes can also be seen in the Dasuttar Sutta of the Digha Nikaya. There are commentarial references to the different views on certain matters of the two schools of Digbhanak and Madhyamanak, as this distinction on ground of size seems remarkable. Anguttara Nikaya follows a straightforward numerical approach, and Sanjukta Nikaya adopts the alternative methods of trying to establish groups of numerically linked discourses arranged in 5 larger meaningful sections. Rhys Davids, the sutras like Sangiti Sutta and the Dasuttar Sutta form a sort of thematic index to the doctrines scattered through the 4 Nikayas. In the two features they have in common of catechism as monologue by the catechumen, they might be regarded as Abhidhamma rather than sutras. It is generally accepted that collections, categorization and elaboration of the fundamental listing, Matikas, of the Dhamma developed into Abhidhamma in the course of the time. On this particular sutta, they are developed as Sangiti Paryay Pad Shastra, an important text of Abhidharma Pitaka of Sarvastivada school. Consideration of the oral nature of the Nikaya offer several profitable lines of historical investigation. In the early period, it affords the possibility of a strong improvisatory element. This can be confirmed by comparison between the surviving versions derived from different sects. It suggests the gradual fixation of the material of a later period. Thus, according to many features of Pali literature and some aspects of the development, the constraints of the oral performance may be a significant factor in the formation of the 4 great collections, Nikayas. Moreover, mnemonic considerations played an important part in their arrangement and structuring. The development of Abhidhamma may then be accounted for in terms of 2 converging tendencies. In the first place, there was a move away from interpreting the traditional formation of the teaching as sequential processes. Greater emphasis was now placed on understanding many of them as describing particular events. Secondly, there was an attempt to fix the structure of the teaching more precisely. This would serve to different purpose. It would both sharpen individual comprehension and insight, while at the same time securing more firmly the historical continuity of the tradition. Various devices were used for this purpose, but particular reference may be made to the Abhidhamma registers and table of contents as well as to the list expounding the contents of a given state of consciousness. A critical study of the text of early medieval and modern Abhidhamma leads us to conclusion of the origin and development of the Abhidhamma, extended over a considerable period of gradual and systematic historical evolution. The Attasalani, which is the commentary of Dhammasangani, describes the Buddhas as the first Abhidhammic. It goes to length of claiming that 7 treatises of the Abhidhamma Pitaka were themselves uttered by Buddha. This text is an interesting and valuable passage. It speaks of a twofold origin of the Abhidhamma. According to these answers, the Abhidhamma was inspired by the earnest aspiration for enlightenment, matured through the 550 births realized by the Buddha at the foot of the Bodhi tree in the month of Vaisakh. It was reflected by the omniscient Buddha while he was on the seat of enlightenment during his week's stay at the jeweled mansion. It was taught in the divine kingdom, Tao Tin's Loka, in the assembly of the thousands of gods, making his departed mother as chief witness. Since he went there with the physical body, he had to come for food to Uttar Guru during the meal time. He took rest for a while in the Chandanavana. Sariputta used to go there for service. He taught him the same as was done in Tao Tin's Loka. Receiving the teachings with honor, Sariputta taught his 500 disciples and they communicated to other disciples. Thus, Abhidhamma has been successfully handed down by the disciples up to the time of Third Buddhist Council and thereafter by their pupils. Through the traditional succession in India, it was brought to the island of Ceylon by Reverend Mahinda, Ithiya, Uttiya and others, and again it was handed down in the new home by their pupils. In this way, with unbroken chain of teacher and pupils, it was handed over to Acharya Parampara. This is also mere positive kind of evidence which tends to confirm the critical opinion of modern scholarship in regard to the origin of Abhidhamma.